with executive leadership?
Yeah, so this is a good one. So after the thing that I talked about where Cheryl knocked on the door, I remember walking back with our CMO, and he goes, "You all right?"
It's a soul-crushing experience. I face planted with executives many times.
Well, he knew that like I wasn't my normal self, because I was like, I had that in my head, and so he's like, he offered me his coach. He's like, "Hey, you should work with my coach, and she can help you to just like overcome that stuff." And one of the main things when I was talking to him was, you know, our CMO even had doubts about himself.
Sure.
Like being at a, and so that was really like humanizing for me, and really helped me to go, okay, it's not just me. I'm not the only one that feels like this. But I think really what I learned was like, if you're in that meeting, you're meant to be there. You were asked to be there. So have the confidence. And act like that. Like I should have, like in hindsight, I should have said to Cheryl, "Whoa, that wasn't cool," you know, or something, or just like made it human or made it funny, and just like moved on from there. But I never like, there was like this, probably it was only me, but there was this thing in the room the whole rest of the meeting, which I could have just like popped that balloon in the beginning and we could have got over it. But anyway, I think just remember that you're there for a reason, and someone has asked you to be there, so have the confidence.
You're there for a reason. You know, fake it till you become it. It's definitely good. So you talked a lot about culture. How has the culture at Facebook changed in the recent months?
It's a great question. I think, so the org that I run now is a little bit outside of the hurricane that happened the last couple of months. But what I liken it to, when there's like something big that happens in the world, oftentimes like a disaster, and people come together, and it really brings them like tighter. And you really see what people are made of. Sure. Like that's sort of what has happened inside of Facebook, because there was a lot of, you know, there was a healthy discussion, and there was a really like this desire just to do better, right? And everyone's like, we just need to do better. Across the board, at communicating what we're doing, at locking down the platform, and you know, all that stuff is underway now. There's now less technology overseeing things, and we've hired like 10,000 people to like take the jobs of some of the AI that was doing that job. Okay. So I think overall, thankfully, out of all of it, there's been some like positive things that have come out of it. But I think it was mostly like a lot of reflection, and just like we need to do better.
Okay. Now, scaling that down a little bit. So the cultures that you're building with your immediate teams, like how do you bring people on? How do you know if you hired the right creative leader?
Yeah, it's interesting, because I'm going through a ton of hiring right now, and I was just interviewing somebody, and he's like, we were like 15 minutes in, he's like, "So do you want to see my portfolio?" I go, "No, I don't. I don't want to see your work at all. I want to see if you're an asshole."
I think that's a fair way to frame it.
Because I spend so much time, for him to get the interview, I'm relying on my team that they've vetted his work, and that he's probably one of the best there is. So I don't need to see that. I trust my team that if he's coming in for an interview, that he's good or she's good. So I just want to see, like, can I fucking work with this person every day?
Yeah.
You know? Like, do they have good instincts? Are they kind? Are they here for the right reasons? And that kind of stuff comes out in questions like, "So salary," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." That like
right.
Negative. It's like I start checking off boxes. Okay, they talked to me about salary. I know the recruiter's already talked to me about that, so they're here for the wrong reasons, you know. Okay. So I sort of look at it in as more of like on human terms and less about the work.
I mean, you brought up a good point too. I mean, trust, which has been a theme throughout the last couple of days here, and this idea of like, working with people and how do you, because you spend more time with the people at work than you do with your family sometimes. Can I live with this person? Are they an asshole? Like, how are they going to react when there's a hurricane at work?
Yeah.
And those are, I think, really good qualities of a leader that you can stem those tides.
I want to be able to walk in, and this is currently how it is on my team. I'll see a member of my team, and I'll actually get a smile on my face because I like them so much that I'm happy to see them. That's what I want for my whole team.
Awesome. Well, you talked a little bit about working globally and with creative leaders. How do you practically tackle that? How do you have a global team and be consistent?
So the one thing that I did at Facebook as well is it took me 2 years that I built a brand guide for Facebook.
Okay.
It's about 230 pages of everything from voice and tone to photography, and it's not meant to. It's meant to be a guide. It's not meant to be a Bible, but it's. We share that with all the partners that we work with. We share that with teams around the world, and so it's a great sort of like leveling. So and then obviously I lean on my creative directors to make sure that it's like dialed in. But the brand guide is probably the biggest.
Okay, and that's a very, very tactical way. When you're trying to build trust and have communication things with your teams globally, are you big video conference people?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
All the time, yeah. We at least once a week, if not more, we're talking. Even if we don't have a projects going with each other.
That's good.
We just check in. I try to make myself always available. I do what we call, we might do this other places, we call them one-on-ones with all my senior leadership. Every week we do like a half hour to an hour meeting, and sometimes it's just like bitching.
You need those venting sessions.
Them bitching to me, I don't bitch. Much.
Fair enough. We got time for about 1 or 2 questions.
I answered them all in my day. Hi. Hi. Oh.
Who Sure.
What do you think might be next for you at Facebook or your team at Facebook?
So right now we're working on some advanced technologies. Like that's the group that I head up now, and we're seeing how. God, I can't talk about it.
Less analog?
Yeah. It's we're working with advanced technologies and figuring out how they can solve human problems.
Fantastic. Real quick.
I was going to ask you some big keys for you early on in your career, making it to creative director at an agency. That those early progressions, the things you would do, your routine to allow you to move up to then do those great things. What are those things?
So I hope it was evident here. It's like I did a lot of side projects. I think like that was just a great way, and there are things that like were like fulfilling not only on a skill level but like on a soul level, and I think those are like really important. Even if you're in a great, like I really love my job now, but I still like do posters for ACLU and donate my time to other causes just because it's like really fulfilling. But I think like all those projects always led to something bigger, and it wasn't planned. It just happened. Like that Obama poster was just meant to support Obama, and it led to like them licensing it and Oprah liking it, And so I think when you just sort of do things that are like fulfilling to you and really meaningful. I'm getting a little weird, so pardon me.
You're in good company.
I feel like there's this energy that goes into those things that gives them a life of their own, and they take on a bigger meaning than you originally intended. And I think if you like do them with that like perspective, and they're not to like win an award, they're not to impress somebody or put up on social media, but they're really like there to like, because they're fulfilling to you. There's something in that happens to those projects. So I would say I would encourage you to find those things.
I think that's a great note to close on. Josh, thank you very much.